10% mortgages are coming. Inflation has been going wild. It's all anybody can talk about. The inflation numbers came in today. It's over 8%. All of the interest rate changes that they've happened over this course of the year hasn't tamed inflation at all. And they are being dead set that they will continue to raise interest rates until they get it down to 2%. Can that happen? Would they be able to do it? And what can you do about it? Because this is going to affect you a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Ruff. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. We're going to be covering some stories today, so let's get right into it. Let's dig in. The very first stories that we're going to be talking about are some very interesting ones that are going to be affecting how it's going to happen to you. Now, we're probably going to be running into 10% mortgages. 10%. I do not think that that is crazy for us to come into that. If we check out some of the stats from today, this is directly from the Government Statistics and Labor Board numbers for the United States. They came in, and if you go look at the charts, it started off September last year at 5%, and it's just gone up 6, 7, 8, 9. And so it has dropped from 9 all the way down to 8.2. That does not change anything. Now, if you look at that, and we looked at this in context to any other times of the entire year history, you would say it's impossible that you raised rates 500% and then it only took down inflation by this much. You would just, your jaw would drop wide open. How is that even possible that this is happening? But this is exactly what is happening. Now, if we look at some of the articles that are coming out right now, the US inflation rate came out at 8.2, but core prices are trending in the wrong direction. They're going up as well. Even core inflation is going up the wrong way. Now, in this article, the only thing I wanted to point out to you is the reason why it was saved and not at 9% right now, it's at 8%, is because there was a 5% drop in the price of gasoline. Please know, we have to fill out the whole story. Remember, inflation is a backwards looking number. You and I have to look forward. Do you not remember seeing in the news about the oil production getting cut by 2 million barrels a day? And that's starting November 1st. So all of those gains that they received way back, over the past couple months for inflation is going to evaporate into thin air, as inflation will go above 9 as soon as those oil prices kick in, and the cold, bitter winter is going to kick in when Europe has no fuel. This is going to sting a lot. And you're saying, well, David, it was sitting at 9% before all these interest rate hikes, and it's still at 9% even with it all. That's right. They have to go a lot harder at this thing. They have gone higher than I ever thought possible. And inflation is way more sticky than I ever thought possible. So there is going to be some rocky roads coming up ahead. So fuel is going to go up. And so any gains in the inflation is going to go down. Now, how did the markets accept this? If we check out the gold price today, the gold price, ironically, unbelievably, went down. You would think that gold and silver and crypto would be a hedge and work the complete opposite to the way the markets went. So it went down. Okay, so gold and silver went down and inflation has gone up. So that's terrible news. Now, how did the markets actually take that? If we look at the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, both of them have reacted like they are on cocaine or something. It makes zero sense. The market has been reacting by going up. I've never seen this before. Have you ever seen this before? Unbelievable. The Dow Jones and the S&P were up today, hundreds of points, and I am shocked that it is doing that. Sorry, you guys, I have an issue with my screen. It's not pulling it up right away. Now, they have gone up a lot. I do not understand why. Nobody really understands why. How can you digest a number at 8.3% and think that this is good news? This is not good news, you guys. This is a massive, massive problem. So what do I think is going to happen is what you and I could normalize. think in our head. We could deduce very easily where we're going to go with this, right? If you just take for a second and know that you need a stable currency in order to have a stable economy. If you do not have a stable currency, your economy is going to go down and the US is going to lose their reserve status. So that is big problems. So the S&P 500, it reacted very well to this unbelievable news. How is that even possible? The Dow Jones went way up. Let's try and pull that up for you guys, and I'll give you some exact numbers on both of those. Dow Jones went up again today. I do not understand why it is. Now, can you call that a bear trap? Yes, most likely. But there is going to be significant downward pressure coming up. Now, where do I think that this is going to go in the long term, you guys? I really think that 10% mortgages are going to happen, especially looking at the news that we saw today. So when we see inflation still over 8%, even though you and I know those are heavily doctored numbers, it's going to give them the ammunition they need to give a 1% rate hike coming up and another one at the end of the year. As you know, I've been predicting 2.75% increases, and we haven't seen those come up yet. So let's keep our eyes peeled for that. And I think 10% mortgages is something that we're going to have for sure. All right. So if we pull up another article I wanted to show you guys for today, this is from Business Insider. Let's see if my internet is still going to work. It's not working today. So you know what? Let's end that. We be very careful at where we're heading right now. So with the situation like we are in today, we are always paying attention to the US because the US is the reserve currency of the world. And so whatever happens to the US kind of happens everywhere else. So in Canada, because we are attached to the United States, we are the biggest trading partner. 6 weeks after the US makes their decision, Canada normally follows suit in the 90% range, like 92% of the time. So when I look at it and I see our rates in Canada already nearing that 7%, and we could handle another couple big percentage points, like that's like putting a bazooka to the economy. When that is going to happen and where it will break, nobody knows. They always say it will work until it breaks, but very likely they're going to continue on. We saw some news coming out of Europe today that they rated Toronto as the #1 place in the world with the largest property bubble. That is some scary, scary news. So we have to be very, very cautious and be preparing our portfolios and our real estate as if we will be expecting to keep this inflation for the next many, many years. Once a country goes over 5% interest rate, it takes on average 10 years for them to get inflation down. So 10 years of high inflation, this could very well be the case. Now, I'm going to share one other article with you before I leave. This as well is from Business Insider. The article says home prices will fall in half in the US next year, and California being hit the hardest. The 2 points I wanted to bring out on the article: home prices will fall in half by next year. That is a shocking part. And then this is the National Association of Realtors chief economist. So this isn't just some like regular Joe Schmo. National Association of Realtors chief economist says that the US housing will drop in half. Caveat: he said he forecasts a rise in about 50% or half of the homes and a decline in the other half. Whoa. Hang on just a second, man, because that's exactly what my good friend David has been telling me for a lot of time, right? I call it band squashing. So if you normally have a home at 500,000, a million, 2 million, 10 million, or whatever, you know, the expensive homes will drop in price and the low price homes will come up. Instead of having this much choice in prices, they'll all get squashed down around the middle. High prices come down, low prices get pushed up. That's the way it always happens. Doesn't matter the country, doesn't matter what century. ban squashing. Okay, so this is going to happen. And according to the chief economist over at the National Association of Realtors, they agree with me. So I want you to take a look at that article. Take time to go read about it. It's businessinsider.com. So we are going to see inflation continuing for the next many, many years. I believe that we're at the beginning of a bull cycle, and the bull cycle will continue. Now, not only do we have this bull cycle in commodities, we are also going to be experiencing the bullwhip effect that is already happening today. So that bullwhip effect, let's just take into example, give me something that you bought a lot of during the health crisis. Maybe it was jogging pants. So if during the health crisis, everyone is staying at home, no one's wearing dress suits anymore, and they're all saying, okay, I got to buy a lot of comfy jogging pants. Okay, so now they buy a lot of them, and then Walmart goes online, goes, oh my goodness, everyone's buying jogging pants, and they go buy 1 million of them, saying people are going to keep buying them, but then they stop buying them. What are they left with? Mountains of jogging pants, and they got to reduce those prices to try and sell them because nobody wants them anymore. That is having an abundance of inventory because they ordered wrong. And that is what's happening on all kinds of products. But they're the products that are the ones that we don't want. Prices coming down means deflation, which is something we would like. But the things that we need are going up in price. That's the gas, food, housing going up, right? And when I talk about housing, it's not the price of housing, it's the payment. Most people think that they buy a home, but we actually usually are buying a payment. So we're going to do another video about this, but remember the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, the two big monster indexes in the United States, back in 2007 and 8, the stock market dropped 50%, 50%. So back in 2008, dropped 50%, but that's only when we had a 30% debt to GDP. Today, we are teetering on 130% debt to GDP, and the stock market's only dropped 25%. We are in an infinitely worse position than we were back in 2008, way worse. And we're only 25% down. If we drop 50% down, that would be the same as what happened in 08, and our situation is worse. So home prices and stock prices will have a really, really tough time. Here's the good news. Anybody that you have walked around and said, I'm so jealous of this guy, he's got a new camper, a new car, a new whatever. Anyone could have made money in the stock market in the past couple of years, anybody. But you're going to find out who was real and who wasn't real. And, that's why we're trying to put our stuff out there, because we're putting this out there for posterity. Like, people will be able to look back and see, like, well, is David right or wrong? This is what I'm reading, but I'm interested to know what you guys are seeing. And if you think that the market's going to be bouncing right back up to where it was, home prices going up, I'd like to know why. I love to hear opposing points of view and why you think the way you do. Anyway, you guys, I want to help you. I want to keep you safe. Listen, as of a year ago, I thought for sure they would never be able to raise interest rates like they have with the debt that they have right now. I thought it was impossible, but impossible still sometimes happens. So we have to always be nimble, always be changing our strategies. That's why I tell you financial education is the key, my friends. So if you know even one person that this could help, please send it to them. I'd really appreciate it. Please remember to give me a thumbs up on this and subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it as well. We appreciate it. We'll be talking to you tomorrow. We have another video coming out about the S&P and the 2007 and how it relates to today. I wish you guys the very best. I hope you have a fantastic day. We love you. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you like that video, you might like this one and maybe something like that.